Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brittany. This is the Brittany React Show, and on this show we talk all things entertainment news. It's mostly entertainment news today. The only strike update really is just to let you guys know they're still talking about AI. Still haven't come to an agreement on that, so that's pretty much it. But mostly entertainment news today. We're going to talk about the fact that Hollywood is now basically turning towards video games to adapt, basically, because comic book movies are now on the decline. So I have a whole list for you guys of upcoming video game TV shows and movies that have been announced and are coming, and it's already a long list, and I bet you after this year it's going to be even longer. So we have a lot of fun things to talk about. How are you guys doing today? Natanya, it's your birthday tomorrow. Everyone in the chat, please say happy birthday to Natanya. She's our lovely moderator, and she's here every day. So happy birthday, Natanya. Oh my gosh, Shelly gifted 5 memberships off the top. Oh my goodness. Okay, Shelly, who's a member? Nakisha's a member, Starfilm Studios a member, Angie's a member, Kiwi Love is a member, Moon Devil is a member. So now all of you guys can participate in our members only posts on the community page. Thank you so much, Shelly. You always support the channel. You're always so generous. Thank you so much. And yay to all of you who are now members. That's great. Hi, The Cover Girl. Hi, Big Will the Game. Hi, JZJ Mom. Hi, Connor Garrett. Hi, Reelin. Hi, Slackjaw. Hi, Natanya. Hi, Arvin. Hi, The Blue Gecko Nerd. And thank you to each and every one of you that shows up each and every day. Deeply appreciate it. And also, I just posted a video. It is just a clip from my longer live stream I did on the South Park special. But if you didn't watch that full video and you just want like a brief idea of what I thought about the special, just go watch that video. It's already up on my channel. I posted it earlier this morning. So please go check that out. Alright, so now let's get to the news. So the first thing we're going to talk about is, of course, as I mentioned, the strike. So just to give you an update on where everything is currently. So the studios and SAG, they're still at the negotiating table. They've been negotiating almost every day. They're trying to get a deal done. I think there's a lot of pressure on both sides to get a deal done because everyone's over these strikes. But it seems like they've hit a snag, and the snag is AI. We just got yet another message today kind of updating the situation from Deadline. Although a meeting was expected today, the studios have not responded to SAG-AFTRA's revised AI proposal from yesterday, as well as their overall comprehensive counter-proposal from Saturday. This just means that SAG has sent the studios their plans or not their plans, their sort of side, their proposal for what they think the industry should do with AI for actors. And the studios have just not responded. They have not given a counteroffer. They have not given another version of their deal. They have not really even come to the table about AI. They seem to not, this is the one issue they don't seem to want to change their mind on. And as I've been telling you guys, this doesn't surprise me at all. I always knew that this strike would come down to AI just because this topic is so new, so controversial, and the potential is just so huge. So if SAG and the studios don't come to a deal this week, or even by next week, the reason for it very much could be because of AI. And I think the whole AI issue is so big. I mean, AI could literally wipe out the industry. Not to be too dramatic or alarmist, but AI has that potential. So I understand why the studios don't want to budge. Of course they want to use AI. The cost savings alone would be substantial. It could save them a huge headache, especially if video game workers and visual effects workers want more money. They could save a lot of money by just using AI. So of course they want to use that as a possibility. And of course the actors are going to be like, heck no, that's my job. So yeah, it's a big issue. I don't know how they're going to solve it. It doesn't seem like the studios really want to budge on this issue yet. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. That's not funny, MD Martin. Joshua Munn says the Pentagon also had a briefing on AI just yesterday too. Yes, the government seems to be finally taking this seriously. Again, it seems like Joe Biden saw the Mission Impossible movie and was like, AI is a threat. And they've decided to actually start taking it seriously. Yeah, the SAG strike has gone on a long time, but to be clear, it is not on the SAG this time for, like, holding things up. It's the studios that are not coming back to the table to even negotiate AI. So it's the studios that have walked away here, not SAG. Hi everyone. So I just wanted to update you guys because they said last week that if there wasn't a deal reached within a week, they weren't going to come back to the negotiating table at all until next year. So I think it's been a week, right? Or at least close to. I mean, it's been a minute. So the fact that they haven't come to a deal is not good news, and I'm starting to get a little nervous, not gonna lie. So, moving on to entertainment news to hopefully, better news. Well, actually, this isn't better news. This is sadly about Matthew Perry's passing. I did tell you guys last time we talked about it that the main cast hadn't said anything yet. Well, they did release a joint statement. I didn't get a chance to talk about it when they first released it, but I do want to just briefly mention it because obviously they must be grieving heavily right now. I'm not surprised that they're not all individually like giving out their own, thoughts right now. I'm sure they need their own time to grieve. But I do want to just briefly read their statement. We are all utterly devastated by the loss of Matthew. We were more than just castmates. We are a family. There is so much to say, but right now we're going to take a moment to grieve and process this unfathomable loss. In time, we will say more as and when we are able. For now, our thoughts and our love are with Maddie's family, his friends, and everyone who loved him around the world. Yeah, I think this is a pretty, simple, straightforward statement. Again, they'll come to the public and say something when they're able to. I'm sure, they're grieving. But I thought this was a very nice statement to say about him. Still very sad what happened. Very shocking. Again, like I said, when I heard that news, it was like when Chadwick Boseman passed all over again. I could not believe it. Very, very tragic. Yes, it is heartbreaking. I know, sorry not to depress everyone again. We do have some more entertaining, fun news. I could not share their statement. I felt like this was too important not to share. Joshua Munn says, this is even worse news. Rip Matthew Perry. It's sad because they just had the Friends reunion this year, and a few months later this happens. Maybe they'll say more at his funeral. Yeah, I mean, I'm actually really glad they got to do that Friends reunion. Again, that just came out earlier this year, right? It just seemed like it came out at the right moment, because unfortunately that was the last time they're ever going to get to do a reunion. Yeah, I don't think they're ever coming back to do another Friends reboot now. I highly doubt the cast will come back without him, so that's completely off the table now. But I think that's probably for a good thing. Let's keep, Friends as it was and not try to ruin it with a reboot like they're sort of doing with Seinfeld. I don't know. It's weird. And also The Office, some things should just end. And I think Friends should just end. But anyway, moving on to the next topic. So it seems like they're trying to tease the waters for a Mean Girls 2 here, because there's a new Walmart ad here with the original Mean Girls cast all grown up, and they all have their own teenage daughters that go to the same school. I love how much they got everyone to come back for this, even Lindsay Lohan. It's a pretty funny, I recommend if you like Mean Girls at all, go and watch the skit. They got everyone back. I think the reason they're doing this, though, especially since we have that Mean Girls musical coming out next year, I think they're testing the waters to see if there's enough interest for Mean Girls 2 with the original cast, and I definitely think there is. Honestly think if they made a Mean Girls 2 with the original cast, it could be a $1 billion movie. Just for the nostalgia alone, it could be like a Barbie 2.0 situation. Especially since Mean Girls is still quoted and heavily relevant today. I highly think they should make a Mean Girls 2. I highly think they should do it. Okay, Joshua agrees they should do it. Matthew W. says, Mean Girls does not need a sequel. It's perfect the way it is. I don't know. I feel like a sequel all these years later with them as adults dealing with their teens or whatever going to school might be kind of fun. I don't know. I'm into it. I think this is like one movie where I feel like I can see a sequel happening. Yes, there is a Mean Girls musical coming out, but it's with the cast that was from the Mean Girls on Broadway. So it's a different cast. And it's coming out in January, so I don't know if that's going to be good or not. Nicholas says, I don't think all grown up is the proper term to describe people with teenage kids. Wait, what is the proper term for it then? Nagisa says, I haven't seen Mean Girls. I don't know anything about it. Oh my gosh. So this is why they need to make her Mean Girls too, so that the Gen Z and the younger kids can know Mean Girls. You guys gotta know Mean Girls. This movie is very millennial though. So I will say that. I don't know if Gen Z cares about it as much, but I will tell you, all the millennial women, they will see Mean Girls too. It will be a thing. Okay, Nicholas, you just don't want more sequels. I get that. Okay, moving on then, since it doesn't seem like a lot of you guys want the Mean Girls too, which is surprising to me. But anyway, HBO has been caught ordering staff to create fake accounts to fire back at those who criticize their shows online. Now, apparently this was an old thing. I don't think they're still doing this now, but the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I'm pretty sure like every studio is doing this. It's not just HBO. Because as someone, I'm spending less time on Twitter now just because I feel like Twitter has become so toxic. But as someone who has spent a lot of time on Twitter, I can tell you for a fact that there are just so many bots on this site. And a lot of times if you just simply click on the profile and like look at their, history, you can tell that they're a bot. And I can especially Marvel. I honestly believe Marvel is astroturfing the F out of Twitter right now, especially with Loki. Anytime you look at Loki trending and you look at like recent, it's full of bots. Nothing but bots, but they're all using the Loki hashtag because they're just trying to get it to trend. I think every studio is doing this. It just seems like HBO is the first to get caught. I just wouldn't believe almost anything you see on Twitter at this point, is what I'm saying. Kisaki says, Mean Girls is a Gen Z thing too. Okay, 70% of millennial shows, movies, and snacks were part of the Gen Z childhood. I mean, again, I'm part of like a weird pocket Z-millennial generation, depending on where you look. I'm either really young millennial, really old Gen Z. So I think older Gen Z do care about Mean Girls, but I don't know if like younger teens or even like little kids still know it. Maybe they do. I don't know. But I just know it's definitely popular with, like, millennials. I know Mean Girls kind of is a period piece now, which is crazy. Angel Barrera, thank you so much for the super chat. It just makes better shows to just make better shows. I know they could make better shows, but that would be a lot of hard work. It's much easier just to create bots to tell everyone who hates your show that they're wrong. Because apparently that's what HBO was doing. Okay, Riolin, you're a Zillennial too. Okay. Nicholas says, why is the photo for the post-mayor of Easttown? Wasn't that legit claimed? Well, some people might not have liked it. I don't know. This was just an example, apparently. Now, they did respond to this. Casey Bloys admits that and apologizes for using fake accounts to fire back at those who'd made negative comments about HBO shows. I was working from home and doing an unhealthy amount of scrolling through Twitter and came up with a very dumb idea to vent my frustration. I feel like this is a very lame excuse for what is like kind of fraud. Like, this is just like, yeah, I was at home alone, I was depressed, leave me alone. It's like, what kind of excuse is this for like making a bunch of fake accounts to fight against people who don't like your shows? I feel like this is not a good enough excuse. I don't know. Is it just me? I thought this excuse was pretty funny. It was like, yeah, I was just working from home. I was doing a lot of doom scrolling. It was a dumb idea. Like, that's their excuse? That's it? Okay. I wish everyone around the world could use excuses like this for doing shitty work. Like, I was just home alone. I was bored. Sorry. Like, okay, this is supposed to be HBO. Like, you're a professional company. What the heck? But anyway, I just thought this was a very weird, like, excuse for this. Twitter is a cesspool. Very true. Oh, Nintendo Gaming Chair, thank you so much for the super chat. So kind. How do I become a paid subscriber via iPad/iPhone? So there is an issue with Apple. If you're using an Apple device and you want to become a member, you have to go to a different browser that's not Safari or Apple owned and use like the desktop version of YouTube to subscribe, just because that's the only workaround to do it, because Google doesn't want to give Apple part of the money. And Apple takes like 30% of every purchase. So that's why Apple users have you have to do like extra steps. But if you want to become a member, and I appreciate you for asking, you have to use like the desktop version of YouTube that's not associated with Apple. I hope that helps. But anyway, yeah, I know it's not very professional, right? Not very professional at all. Kisaki says, I swear some of these stan channels on YouTube are botted too. They weirdly act like advertisements for shows that recently come out. Yeah, I think there's a huge bot issue, not just for entertainment, but for, like, in general. I wouldn't be surprised if most of Twitter is actually just bots. Again, I've gotten to the point where I can spot a bot very easily, even especially for politics. Ever since this recent Middle East conflict came about, there are, like, so many extra bots now. Like, I don't think anything's real in that app right now. Like, I don't trust it at all. Like, anything. Nagisa says, I always see complaints about girl bosses, but I'm seeing an anime called Heron with amazingly written female characters. Well, I'm glad you're finding something good. Anime actually has a lot of really good stuff. I think that's why people are moving towards anime. But moving on, just wanted to point this out because I definitely think HBO is not the only offender here. I guarantee you, again, just look at the Loki hashtag and go to recents, because sometimes I do that just to see what people are saying. And you will see it's nothing but bots. You'll see occasionally a real tweet, but it's a lot of bots. But moving on. So, it looks like Five Nights at Freddy's is definitely getting a sequel. That's not surprising. This movie only had like a $25 million budget, and it's going to make a killing. So, it's a no-brainer that they're going to make a sequel. Well, Emma Tammy, the director, says that she would like to see a potential sequel follow a similar story to the franchise's second game. So, for those who have played the game, does this sound exciting? I mean, from what I understand, this movie made a lot of diehard video game fans very happy, so it sounds like they're going to continue sticking very close to the source material. I mean, obviously that worked for them. And I think the second has a chance to be even bigger. I don't know. Are you guys excited for more Five Nights at Freddy's? Do you want a sequel, or do you think just one was enough? I know in my review, a lot of you guys thought the movie was just okay. So if you're not excited, or you don't think the sequel will do as well, please let me know. I actually think there's a potential this could be like a really big franchise for Universal. Five Nights at Freddy's is very popular. Okay, Green Otter Box would like a FNAF 2. Yes, okay. Yeah, Kisaki, that would be my biggest thing. I think the second movie needs to be scary. It has to be scary. I liked the first movie okay. It was fine. I just don't think it was scary enough. Like, I felt like I was watching a drama with, like, horror elements. And even though it has, like, the really effed up stuff with the ghost children, it was still, like, in a drama kind of way. Like, it almost kind of reminded me of, like, I don't know if you guys have seen or heard of this movie, but it's a movie called The Lovely Bones. Kind of even reminded me of that. Like, it's horrific in a drama way, not in, like, a horror movie way. So I don't know. It's just, it wasn't scary. It's more just like uncomfortable and unsettling, but yeah, I don't know. I need it to be scary. GQ Boy says, well, if there's multiple FNAF game titles, there's going to be some movie sequels. Oh, I'm sure they want a whole FNAF cinematic universe. You're going to get Chica to get her own, TV series. Freddy's going to get his own movie. Everyone's going to get a spin-off. It's going to be a whole thing. Just watch. It is a good movie. Big Will the Game says, yes, I'm thankful for people who uploaded all the episodes on YouTube. However, I miss my childhood 2003. Which episodes are you talking about? Are you talking about Five Nights at Freddy's? I'm not sure what you're talking about, sorry. I know. Actually, it seems like a lot of the people who are on at my 1 p.m. time, probably because it's during the day, it seems like you guys you skew younger, like the people who watch live. Because when I actually look at my analytics, it actually skews older. It's just funny that the people who watch live tend to be younger. Okay, seems like most of you guys are for a sequel, but you do want it to be scarier. It seems like we're on the same page here. That's good. Now, there is another reason Emma Tammy wants to make a sequel. She's making a killing off of this movie. She was only paid $500,000 up front, but she included a deal where she'll receive a percentage of the film's profit. And this movie's going to have a killer profit because, again, the budget's only $25 million and it's already made $130 million. So she's about to make a lot of money. Probably going to become a millionaire off of this movie. So I'm sure she's like, oh yeah, sign me up for 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, because she's making a killing. But I also think she did a decent job. And I like that we're getting another female director who, could get a second chance. Because usually, like, female directors, like, one and done. So I hope that she does come back for the sequel. I really do. And good for her for getting this deal, because she is about to get paid. Like, paid. Oh, hi, Hyacinth. Oh, you're watching at work. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Shelly Lee says, I don't care just as long as kids get up off their couches and go see it. I mean, they got off the couch to go see this one. Oh, Angel Barrera, another super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat. I was surprised because a cohesive story is the last thing FNAF I'm known for. Yeah, FNAF is not known for its story. It's more known for its lore. So I guess that's why fans really liked it, because it did dive into the lore a bit, although I think they still left a lot of lore out. Maybe they'll go into it in the second one. I don't know. But anyway, moving on to the next chat, or the next one. So studios are in a bidding war for the rights to Britney Spears' new memoir. Have you guys been paying attention at all to some of, like, the shocking revelations that have come out of this book? I mean, she talks about her conservatorship. She talks about getting addicted to drugs. She had an abortion at one point. She talks about her relationship with Justin Timberlake. She was very honest about her life. Very, very raw. And it was just like all last week, I feel like, was nonstop headlines about revelations coming out of this book. And it seems like all of Hollywood is fighting for the rights to adapt it to live action. So it looks like we could be getting a movie version of this book soon, which I actually think could be a huge, huge hit. I'm thinking like a Bohemian Rhapsody level hit where it could make almost $1 billion. Because A, Britney Spears is still alive, and she's actually still very relevant. A lot of people know her music still. It's not like her music has fallen off. And people still really care about her story and what happened with the conservatorship. Plus, she just has like a very tragic kind of Hollywood pop star life and story. So I think it would make for a really good movie. I think this could be the next Bohemian Rhapsody level big. I really do. Do you guys see this? Do you think that a Britney Spears biopic movie could be a big hit? Because I think it could be huge. Also, who would play her, though? I can't even imagine who would play her. I don't feel like there's anyone who even fits that type right now. I know, I hope Britney is involved in the production of the movie. She better be, an executive producer or something. I hope so. Rusty says, my friend read the entire book, and she said it didn't seem like Britney Spears wrote that book. Yeah, I don't think Britney wrote that book. I'm pretty sure she had a ghostwriter. But I'm hoping it's at least her life story that she told the ghostwriter. I don't know who would play Britney. I feel like there is no Britney type right now. The only person I could think of is like maybe Chloe Grace Moretz. I don't know. Do you guys see her? I don't know if she can sing though. I kind of feel like maybe she has the look. I don't know. Anya Taylor-Joy? No. She has a very deep, rusty voice, and Britney's famous for a baby voice. Who would you guys want to see play Britney? Not Rachel Zegler. Come on. Not Jonathan Majors as Justin. Arvin, can you not? Can you imagine the uproar, though? Aaron Lopez says, it would make $1 billion. I could see Florence Pugh playing her. Again, Florence Pugh has a very, low, husky, raspy voice. Britney's iconic for her high-pitched baby voice. I think that's very important. I think the only thing that Florence Pugh fits is that she's white and blonde, but I don't think she has any of the other qualities. Sabrina Carpenter. That's a good one. I like Sabrina Carpenter. Trisha Paytas, Slackjaw. Y'all don't take anything seriously. Not her sister. You would want, no, her sister could not play her. She doesn't even like her sister. Not Jonathan Majors as Britney either, Angel Britney. Sydney Sweeney. Sydney Sweeney. If she can sing, and she has, she can do the signature Britney voice, I could see Sydney Sweeney doing this. Yeah. Sydney Sweeney, that's another good one. No, not Jenna Ortega. No, not Jamie Lynn Spears. Y'all are just throwing out some crazy names now. Like, y'all are not taking this serious at all. But I like Sabrina. That's a good one. All right, moving on, though. This could be a good movie. I seriously think it would make $1 billion. I mean, did you guys see how much attention just her book got? I think that movie would make gangbusters. It would be the next Bohemian Rhapsody. All right, so Game of Thrones is getting yet another prequel series. It sounds like the HBO really wants to expand the Game of Thrones universe. Of course, we have House of the Dragon, but now we're also getting another prequel series titled A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, The Hedge Knight, which starts shooting spring 2024. Now, I did not know what the heck this was, so I looked up the premise. It's set a century before the events of Game of Thrones. Two unlikely heroes wandered through Westeros, a young, naive, but courageous knight called Sir Duncan the Tall and his diminutive squire Egg. Set in an age where the Targaryen line still holds the Iron Throne, and the memory of the last dragon has not yet passed from living memory. Great dynasties, powerful foes, and dangerous exploits all await these improbable and incomparable friends. Sounds like a typical Game of Thrones series. I have no idea who Duncan the Tall is or Egg, but apparently they're very popular characters from the books. I don't know. But if we're getting the same writers who were doing Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon, I have a lot of faith that this will be good because, well, Game of Thrones is very good. And as you guys know, I love House of the Dragon. That's probably my favorite show at the moment. And speaking of House of the Dragon, it's actually coming back next summer. I'm so happy. I miss this show a lot. This show is great. But yeah, it comes out next year because it didn't really get impacted by the strikes, which is nice. So at least that's good news. But is anyone looking forward to this new Game of Thrones prequel series? Does anyone know anything about it? No, not Emma Roberts. Halle Bailey, Thanos. You guys are being so serious. Like, I need you guys to be like, ah! Ah! Oh my god. Oh, shoot. Okay. I just saw a spider. Oh, goodness. I saw a spider. That scared the crap out of me. Oh, God. Sorry. Sorry if I just, like, ruined your sorry if I just ruined your ears. Oh, my God. Anyway, no, it was a spider. I don't like spiders. I'm sorry I scared you guys. But anyway, yes. I don't know. I just hope it stays over there. It's huge. But anyway, yes. So, moving on. I hate that was live. I hate that was live. But anyway, moving on. So, I guess we'll just move on because there's no way we could talk about Game of Thrones now. Anyway, there's a new trailer for the new Hayao Miyazaki movie I've been telling you guys about. It's called The Boy and the Heron. It's actually, I think it looks really good. I looked at the trailer already. I'm very distracted. I'm trying to keep it together. Yes. The Boy and the Heron. As I've been telling you guys, this was going to be Hayao Miyazaki's last movie, but then, of course, he decided to change his mind. Oh, Shelly, thank you so much for the reaction. Thank you for the super chat. Really appreciate it. Shelly, that's crazy. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Shelly. I'm glad I'm entertaining you, at least. But anyway, I would like to point out that Robert Pattinson is in this movie, and he sounds nothing like him. Listen to this.
What exactly are you?
I mean, he sounds really good. Like, he's clearly changing his voice entirely. So I think he's very talented. Did not expect this. I'm actually going to see this movie. I'm actually really looking forward to it. Yeah, it did really well in Japan, so I'm kind of hoping that this does well here in America, too. It's actually getting a surprising amount of hype. Like, this trailer actually has a surprising amount of interest. So it could do well. It could do really well, but the voice acting is very, very good. Alright, moving on. So, Loki Season 2 debuted 39% lower than Season 1, according to Nielsen. This is not good. Season 1 was huge. Season 1 had so much hype. If you guys remember, Season 1, literally everyone was talking about it. It was like trending on social media constantly. I mean, it was huge. It was huge. And I've noticed that people aren't nearly talking about it as much. Like, it's pretty much just staying within the geek sphere. Like, no one outside of, like, geek Twitter is really talking about this show, which is how I knew that the viewership was probably low. And now we have some evidence, because according to Nielsen, Season 2 debuted a lot lower than Season 1. And I wouldn't be surprised if the viewership has even lowered since then. Because I feel like after the first episode aired, there was, like, even less interest with each subsequent episode. So I would be very surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we find out, like, by this last night's episode that there wasn't even, that no one was watching it, basically. I'm really curious to see what this viewership is going to wind up being. Like, this is so bad for Marvel. It's like they can't even catch a win anymore. It's like Loki's not doing well. The Marvels isn't going to do well. They've got really the only win this year was Guardians. That's it. And the guy who made that is about to go work on their competitor. So that's not good. Cry Deluxe. Oh, thank you so much for the super chat. You guys are so kind. I hate that you guys had to see me freak out. Nicholas says, I've currently finished my first batch of Ghibli films in my marathon. Oh, having a good Ghibli marathon is the best. Seriously, I've done that before. Those movies are so good. Just like spending a nice rainy day inside watching Ghibli movies is seriously the best. Oh, Jules, you're bored with Loki. Okay, some people are really bored with Loki. I have to say, I actually like the show. I think it's pretty good. But I'm not surprised at all that the viewership is low. I do think this season is a lot more serious. It's a lot slower. It's a lot more high concept with a lot of the sci-fi stuff. So it could be harder to follow. Overall, I just think this season is probably a lot more niche than the previous season, so I'm not surprised the viewership is lower. Oh, Ajamin, you feel bad for the show. Yeah, and of all the Marvel things that have been flopping, I feel like this show doesn't deserve it. I feel like this show is definitely paying for the sins of other Marvel shows and movies, because it's not bad enough to warrant this. It really isn't. Yes, Ghibli music is also great. Nicholas says, even from just those 5, I can't decide my favorite. What do you mean? Spending a day watching Ghibli, then a spider is next to you. Oh, don't stop. I'm trying so hard not to think about. Y'all, this is rough. Kisaki says, my elementary music teacher introduced me to Totoro all the way back in the early 2000s. Yeah, I feel like My Neighbor Totoro is a lot of people's gateway into that world. Mine was Spirited Away. Oh yeah, Princess Mononoke, that's another really great one. They're all good. Really, they're all good. But yeah, it sucks for this show. I haven't actually seen last night's episode yet. I will tell you guys my thoughts on it on Monday. But yeah, even for me, I'm like, I don't feel like I have to see the show right away. Like, I don't feel like I have to go immediately. So yeah, I get it. I unfortunately, I get it. Even though I like it, it's not like oh yeah, I gotta see this right away. So that just sucks. It really sucks. Do you guys know when WandaVision came out that I was so like into Marvel, into that show, that I was there like at midnight? I was there every night at midnight because I wanted to see that show. I was that into it. Now I'm just like, oh yeah, Loki came out. I'll check it out, I guess. So yeah, anyway, moving on. So there's a new trailer that just came out. It's actually going to Hulu. I had never heard of this movie. It's called Shogun. I'm not going to show you the whole trailer, but the reason I'm showing you is because it looks fantastic. It looks like a huge Japanese epic full of samurais and cool fighting, and it looks like something that should go to theaters, but it isn't. And this actually reminded me that Chad Stahelski said that he's working on a Ghost of Tsushima movie. And if you play video games, Ghost of Tsushima is a very popular, well-known game that won a lot of awards. It's very highly acclaimed. And the same director of the John Wick movies wants to direct a Ghost of Tsushima movie. And I think this could be another big hit. A, because the video game is very well beloved, but also because Chad Stahelski's doing it. Again, he did John Wick 4. Like, if he can do John Wick, he can make a great samurai movie. And if he can make it look like this, the Shogun movie that I think looks fantastic, I see another potential huge hit for Hollywood. Again, if they're looking for hits, and I know they are, if anyone, I know no one's watching, but if anyone, Hollywood executive is watching this, I'm telling you, I think this film here could be another huge winner if they make it like huge and grand and epic like this Shogun movie. Seriously, watch the trailer. Watch the trailer, you will understand. It looks amazing. Yeah, a lot of people really love the game. Shogun is a series, sorry. Oh wait, it's a series. Wait, I thought it was a movie. Oh my god, it looked like a movie! That's a series? Hold up. Oh, I could have sworn this was a movie. Well, that's even more surprising. How do Disney Plus series look so terrible when you have, like, FX TV shows that are looking a million times better than them? Wow. Yeah, this looks great, though. I'm really looking forward to it. I think if they give the same treatment to Ghost of Tsushima movie, I think this could be a huge, huge hit. And make it R-rated, maybe. I don't know. But I think it could be really, really huge. Another thing that they could be doing, well, they are doing, is apparently they're trying to make a James Bond video game called Project 007. It would be the ultimate spycraft fantasy. It has a tone closer to Daniel Craig than Roger Moore, and is more scripted experience than the Hitman trilogy. Job listing confirms it's a third-person action game. Now, the reason I added this news story is because it's part of our larger topic today, which is the fact that Hollywood is like doubling and tripling down on video game movies now that comic book movies are kind of failing. And it's not that they're just adapting video games into movies, but they're also turning their movie franchises into video games. And I think this is the next best example of what I'm talking about here. Now we're getting a 007 sort of cinematic video game. I see the same thing happening with a lot of other franchises as well. I think this is very exciting. I think the lines between video games and movies are going to blur more and more, especially since they're saying this game is going to be very narrative-driven and cinematic. Again, this is all what I've been talking to you guys about, like where the future of entertainment is going. I really think it's going to be more interactive. I think it's going to be a lot of, again, blurring the lines between video games and movies, and I think this is really just the start of it. I really do. Prince says, personally, I want Alan Wake series or movies because the game is superb. We're about to get to a whole list that I found of all the upcoming video game movies and shows coming out. There really is a ton. I know, right? I'm glad that we're maybe getting more good video game movies now. That's great. Thanos says the CW Arrowverse show looks better than the Disney Plus shows. That's true. The Disney Plus shows look truly terrible. You want a Sims? I've been okay. Thank you, Arvin. I've been saying for ages that I want a Sims movie. Could you imagine a Sims movie where it's a bunch of Sims all in the Sim world, and then they start realizing that something's weird because their baby's on fire, or they can't, get to their bed because a book is in the way, or something crazy starts happening. If you play The Sims, you understand what I'm talking about. I feel like the slow realization that they're a Sim would be really entertaining. Seeing a Sim go about their daily life in a very Sim-specific way, a lot of Sims inside jokes. And then they sort of realize, hey, this seems strange. Why do I have to do, it could be funny. It could be really, really good. I would love a Sims movie. Echo trailer. They just released an Echo trailer? I didn't see that. Ria Lynn says, the Sims movie, I don't know, how would you do that? Would you adapt the pre-game storyline? I think, as I just said, I think it would be you watch a bunch of Sims going about their Sim life, and they slowly come to realize that they're in a simulation. I think it could be really good. And you make, the Sim world super surreal, like the Barbie world was, and I think you have a huge hit. I think that could be really good. Yeah, kind of like Free Guy. Yeah, kind of like that, but I think even better. But anyway, I have the list here of all of the upcoming movie games and shows that are coming out. So you have the Super Mario Bros. Sequel, you have Borderlands, you have Sonic the Hedgehog 3, Detective Pikachu 2, Return to Silent Hill, Gran Turismo just came out, a Silent Hill movie, a Minecraft movie, a Poppy Playtime movie. I mean, it just keeps going down. There's some pretty big video games here. Metal Gear Solid, Metro, Gears of War, Mortal Kombat 2. Just really anything. Again, Ghost of Tsushima, Call of Duty Moody, Call of Duty movie. Call of Duty movie. I mean, really, a Pac-Man movie? I mean, we already had a Pac-Man movie. It was with, what's his name? Adam Sandler. That didn't do well. But basically, anything that is popular, a video game that is popular is pretty much getting an adaptation at this point. Now, I do see some games that aren't on here that I think could do really, really well with an adaptation. Like I've been saying, I think Detroit Become Human would make a great series, like an HBO series for Detroit Become Human. Sign me up. I was really wishing that instead of doing a Harry Potter reboot, they would just adapt the Harry Potter Legacy storyline, because I thought that game was really fun. The story was really good. Yeah, I don't know. Some of these I think could be really good, and then some of these I think do not sound like they will be good. I'm a little mixed on this. How do you guys feel about this? Okay, you're waiting for the Fallout series, says Lysandra. Portal, yeah. Okay. Lawrence says Call of Duty Moody this summer. I don't know. I don't know why I said that. Okay, I'll look at the Echo trailer. Why do they always drop stuff while I'm actually on my live stream? I'll react to it on Monday. Kisaki says, I am the only one who didn't hate the Adam Sandler movie. Okay, I actually didn't see it. It didn't interest me. But I heard a lot of bad things. A Life is Strange series would be good. Yeah. Oh, a cyberpunk movie starring Keanu Reeves. Yes. Oh, they should definitely do that. That would be so good. Yeah. I mean, I feel like there are so many good games out there that Hollywood hasn't ruined yet, that there's actually a lot, for the taking out there that they could deal with. So, yeah, that sounds exciting. All right. So now that you guys seen the list, let's get to the member question. So the member question is about the video game movies. I asked my members, with Hollywood now banking on video game movies being the next big thing, how do you think that's going to work out for them? So Stella says, the success of video game movies will likely depend on factors like the quality of the adaptation, the popularity of the original game, and the skill of the filmmakers involved. Some video game adaptations have been successful, while others have struggled critically and commercially. If done well, video game movies have the potential to be a lucrative genre for Hollywood, but there is also a challenge in translating interactive experiences into a passive cinematic format. It will be interesting to see how the industry navigates this transition. Yeah, I think the biggest difference between movies and video games is obviously one is intentionally built to be more engaging, just by the nature of it. And I think that movies are, as you say, they're much more passive in comparison. The fact is, a lot of people really like the FNAF movie, even though I thought it was really slow and boring at parts. So it is possible that video game fans can like slower paced movies. I'm not saying it's impossible. But I do wonder if, for the Super Mario Bros. Movie, that movie moved at like a lightningly quick pace. Like super, super quick. So I don't know if they're going to go the way of like have a long drawn out epic series, kind of like Ghost of Tsushima. Or they're going to go the route of, like, Super Mario Bros. Where they, like, make the pacing super quick to, like, keep it as engaging as a normal video game would. Maybe they'll do a mix of both. I don't know. Maybe they should do a mix of both. But I do think there is definitely a difference in just, like, general pacing between movies and games that could be a huge hurdle for a lot of video game fans. That's true. Sexy Rhino says it's a very slippery slope and very unpredictable for them. At first glance, staying true to the source material might help them to succeed. However, when I think of Resident Evil franchise, it seems to be a bit different. Like the original 6 movies by Wes Anderson takes so many dumps on the source material and getting more out of control in each movie, but have box office success in every film while got a shit reviewing score. The reboot one, Welcome to Raccoon City, have a story and vibe, but much closer to the source material, but performs poorly both box office and on the review. I think it's important that these movies need to be close to the source material. That's why people like, the IP to begin with, is because they like the source material. I think Hollywood shouldn't try to make too many, creative changes to these source materials, honestly. I think they should just try to be, as faithful as possible. Don't we already have a steady flow of video game movies, and those are hit and miss on all over the place? I think that the reason that it seems to be the next big thing is because in the recent years, most of the video game movies/series are quite in good quality, while other IP qualities are dropping. I think you're saying that in recent years, video game series are good, while other things have been dropping. I mean, I don't really know. I don't want to make too many blanket statements, but I really think that overall, the perception of video games right now are a lot better than the perception of movies. I think people are just generally a lot more excited when a new video game comes out, because I think Hollywood has such a bad reputation right now, honestly, that movies kind of have a bad reputation for the most part. Occasionally you'll get something really big that people get excited about, but a lot of times I just feel like the general relevancy of movies is just waning. I really do. And I think video games get a lot of people really excited now. Look at how much hype the new Spider-Man video game is getting compared to the Marvels. I really think there's a shift happening, in my opinion, at least with younger generations. You guys might disagree with me. Maybe you disagree. Okay, so Sammy, you agree. You agree. I got a what? Lazy Mills, what? Don't scare me, guys. Nicholas says, at the very least, not as many people are calling video games progenitors of violence. What? What are you talking about? I have no idea. Arvin says, the Snake Game movie, imagine a live-action snake stuff and become large and bite. What? I have no idea what you guys are talking about in this chat. I'm trying to understand these comments. But anyway, getting back to this, Cheetah Viper says, not all games translate to good movies with good sales. It depends on hype of the game and a good script. Very true. Not all games are created equal. Some will be more popular than others. Nicholas Wilson says, historically, video game-based movies have been more miss than hit, and by far the biggest problem has been arrogant producers deciding they can't ignore the game's story/characters/settings. The best game-based movies have been the ones that stick closest to the source material. That's exactly what I've been saying. So if Hollywood can learn to do that, then there's a wealth of stories to be told. I was just saying yesterday on a retro gaming channel, it's a shame that Gabriel Knight Games never got a movie, and I don't think you're old enough to even know that franchise. I don't, sorry. Brittany, so there are great stories and concepts going back a long way to draw from. I honestly think with the success of the recent Mario movie that there's a place for films that do right what the first attempt at a movie of a game did wrong. I don't know. I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe a movie can fix, issues from a game, that's true. But I think that's a lot of pressure to put on the movie. I don't know. I feel like Hollywood has the potential for another gold rush of new content to come out with these video game adaptations, but they have to do them justice. Because video game fans are vicious, and they will go after you. They will go after you hard if you mess up something. So I just need Hollywood to get their quality-ish straight, because if they are going to get into these video game adaptations, then they can't make them bad. Fans will not allow them to be bad. They will just be uproar. I genuinely believe that. Thanos says, there is a shift. Xbox/Microsoft tried to jump on the video game TV movie thing, but back in 2013, but the world wasn't ready. Yeah, I agree with you. I think even Google trying to do the whole, what was it? Like, they tried to do their own YouTube gaming thing, YouTube Stadia. I think that was trying to jump in on it, but I think they were slightly too early. Now, I think, is the moment to try to do that kind of stuff. I really do. Getting to Gly98, I'm hoping we get video games like Hogwarts Legacy where they take the story and world building that seriously. Yes, that's why I liked Hogwarts Legacy. Like, if you're a Harry Potter fan, that's a good game. There's a lot of money that can come from this industry, so it's not surprising that studios want to capitalize on that. I'm imagining a Marvel equivalent to the DC Universe online. Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised that Marvel doesn't have an MMO, to be honest. That seems like a very, like, obvious thing that they should do. Yeah, I think Marvel should do more with video games. I know they tried to do their Avengers video game and that didn't work out, but I don't think they should stop. I mean, the Spider-Man one is doing so well. They should keep going. Again, they should just make sure that they get it right. Slackjaw says, I think when it blows over towards the end, like with the superhero movies, they will get lazy and not be so good. I also think they have a greater chance of using AI in them because video game characters aren't real. Wonder what the future holds. Yeah, with the introduction of AI into the mix, I think we can't really predict what's going to happen, unfortunately. We have no idea. All we can say is that a lot of change is going to happen, and it's going to happen quick. Buckle up is what I'm going to say about that. The CoverGirl official says at some point this could become another Marvel superhero situation where there are too many mid to low quality video game adaptations and people just get tired of it. If Hollywood wants video game adaptations to continue making good money, they need to focus on quality over quantity. Couldn't agree more. I think we've said this a lot, but Hollywood really needs to focus on quality first and not quantity. Metronoma 1 says, I think it could work. Adapting video games is not that much different from adapting books or other things. As long as it has a good story, it can totally work. But how will it affect Hollywood is hard to say. It will be years before a substantial amount of video game movies come out, and I can't help but think if it will be too late. I feel that the coming years is crucial for Hollywood. Very true. I think it could be a game changer for Hollywood in terms of bringing new and exciting stories to the big screen. But I also think that the studios need to think more outside the box and make structural and artistic changes. It is not enough anymore to just make movies with different stories and IPs. Yeah, I think what we're seeing with this year is that people are done with the current roster of franchises and they want something new. So they can't just keep going back to the same well. We gotta go back and make something new again. Rio Lynn says, if we are talking a particular franchise in general, I truly don't know. Of the ones I know to be in development, maybe the Ghost of Tsushima movie. I am biased, though. I mean, it is a good movie from what I've heard. I mean, good game. So that's why I think that makes the most sense to actually adapt. Also, maybe a Red Dead Redemption movie could work, but then again, a lot of it depends on how they adapt a story of the game and what kind of Easter eggs to the game they make. Video games in general are hard to adapt because the narrative structure of games vary I get what you're saying, vary per type of game. And there's the whole gameplay element of those games, which you cannot adapt for a movie. Maybe you can make a plot device towards one, but that is it at most. The Last of Us succeeded because there was already a great narrative structure situated for a TV show, a story that was already praised as being one of the better ones. That's true, a lot of these video games don't actually have a story. That's why I think critics don't like Mario, because Mario games don't have a story. That's why I'm actually surprised that more people like Five Nights at Freddy, because Five Nights at Freddy doesn't really have a story, and they had to create one. But yeah, I mean, there are enough differences between the two that I think that's why Hollywood struggles with it so much. But they're going to try anyway, because they're having so many hits with video games lately, it's not going to stop them, even though I think they're going to struggle with it. The 90s Super Mario Brothers movie didn't work well to there not being a great narrative structure in the games, but also people don't play Mario games for the story, they play because they love the format and that type of gameplay. Very true. Chevon Jr. says, for a long time, Hollywood has been wanting to make video games into movies. Ever since the Super Mario Bros. Movie came out, that film became a huge hit, raking in billions at the box office. So if they're committed to doing another one that has great potential, I think Red Dead Redemption has a potential, or Sunset Overdrive. I don't even know Red Dead Redemption that much, but I just know it's popular. Since you guys keep bringing it up, I have to assume it would make bank, so if any executive is watching this, I would say they should definitely make that at this point. RuPaul's Drag Race superfan says they will be successful at first, but then they're gonna start to make sequels, and they will do good at first till people catch on to what they're doing. The other problem is The Last of Us show that not every video game can fit into a movie. Yeah, basically what Chevon Jr. was just saying. I am worried that it will cause the video game industry to create a lot more storyline-based games just so they can be made into movies or TV shows. I'm also worried because some video games has some villains that are so bad that if an actor and actress play them, this will garner so much hate it could ruin their career. Oh, like Abby from The Last of Us. Yeah, this is what I was talking about when I said that video games fans are vicious and they're just gonna have to get ish right. Just because video games fans will come after them. This is what I meant. I feel so bad for whoever they get to play Abby for this very reason. Oh, Thanos, thank you so much for the super chat. You guys are so kind, just wanting to support the channel. You guys are so nice. But yes, very much agree with you. Joshua Munn says, those are gonna flame out much quicker than superhero movies did, and westerns did with the same toy movies. You think they're gonna flame out quickly? I think it's possible. There's not as many video games to adapt as there are comic books, so it's possible this era doesn't last that long. Shelley Lee says, I'm waiting for my Zelda movie. Oh, that's definitely coming, for sure. Joshua Munn also says, I hear there's a Disney boycott because of them giving money to Israel military now, too. So it has been the worst year for Disney I've ever seen. I have not heard of this, and I am not touching this subject. Mary Lynn Cherry says, so many video game adaptations flop before. Hollywood will create more flops, as it still seems they did not understand why the latest ones have worked. Yeah, I don't think they understand why Mario or Barbie worked, and they'll probably get a lot of flops out of it, but they'll get enough hits that they'll keep going, and they'll still have more flops. That's how Hollywood works, essentially. But anyway, thank you everyone for posting your comments and member questions. I genuinely appreciate everyone for being a member, and everyone who gave a super chat, genuinely appreciate you. Thank you, Shelly, for gifting all those memberships at the top. I genuinely appreciate you. I'm gonna sign off now because that spider is scaring me, and I've been intense this entire time. So I have to go now. This has been a great show. We actually managed to make this one an hour, so that's great. I'll see you guys on Monday at 4 p.m. And this has been great. Thank you all for showing up each and every day. I feel like this week's worth of live streams have been really fun, so I've been enjoying it. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys on Monday, guys.